Hello, Dan Wood with Northern Sun Mercantile. Super excited. We're narrowing in on completing this barn. Just got to put the roof on, siding, and some doors, and I'll be done. The roof is going to be a huge milestone for me. Having that done, just having everything covered. In this video, we're going to trim out all the gable ends and put the main fascia on and strap the roof. Hope you enjoy the video. And if you haven't watched any of the previous videos, we've documented this right from the ground up. The playlist is linked right up here. So in preparation for the siding, I've padded out the end an inch on the gables. That will allow me to do the siding on the lower half and then overlap the upper half. And the way I've done this, I have already installed the fascia, and I have a pocket spaced out a total of 3 inches to the edge of the fascia, but I've got a 1 inch 1x8 because my rafters are 8 inches, and I've got a 1x4 that went up next to space it, and then I've got a 6-inch fascia board installed over that, and I've also mocked up the end so I know where to end the fascia. You can see that I had to slide that out and slide the fascia down a little bit to meet the line of the long wall fascia. That's just a temporary piece as a guide block. Now I've got this end done. I'm going to go down and do the other end. Now I've made my plumb cut and my soffit cut on this first 8-inch piece that's going up, and again, this is just a spacer which spaces the siding out 1 inch. It gives me something to rest the top of the siding on and something to nail it to. And that is the jig that I made to catch the end. It's just a L-shaped bracket screwed to the bottom of the rafter tail, and then the piece of wood I just added just sits on top of that, and it acts as a stop so it doesn't slide further than it needs to. This next piece going up is a 1x4, which will also be completely concealed. The fascia will sit on top of it. It kind of acts as a spacer and as a stop for the top edge of the siding when I slide it up into the pocket that we're making. Now you could very easily just make this 1x4 as blocks. It's just a spacer. You could space it all, cut 16-inch pieces and put them in. It's just easier for me. I have the lumber, so I'm going to do them in one piece, just to make it easier to do by myself. But you could do this and just use up a bunch of scraps if you had them. Now you've got to keep in mind as you're doing the fascia on the gable ends that it has to extend down a little bit to give you your soffit depth. I'm going to space this is a temporary block that I'm putting in. I'm going to space it down 1 3/8. There's a 1-inch soffit material going up in that will give me a 3/8 reveal. But you want to do that, at least screw a temporary block in there so you know where to set your fascia. Now when you're figuring the fascia, I always start at the bottom of these so I can figure out where it's got to sit. Make your plumb cut with a 12-12 or a 45-degree angle. And then your level cut, which will be 6 inches. When you're doing multi-piece fascia, I always put a angle on the end. In this case, I'm going with a 45. Now once the roof strapping is done, we're going to strap this roof every 2 feet all the way up to the ridge with a 1x4. Once that is done, there'll be a secondary fascia which will go on before the drip edge, which will slide up and cover those ends. I'll show that as we go along. Now right here, it's very important to make sure that the soffit cut, which is the level cut, lines up perfectly with the bottom of that piece of mock fascia that I put on. And now we've created that 1-inch pocket that the siding will slip up into. I will fasten it through the fascia as well into the top of the siding just to get the lower side of the fascia well nailed so it doesn't twist. But this is essentially, this is the pocket that we wanted to make to give us that 1-inch overhang on the gable end. Now the top of the fascia has a plumb cut, which is the same angle as the roof, which is a 12-12, 45-degree angle to finish off the top. Now we're going to install fascia on the long walls, but before I do that, I'm going to stretch a string from one end to the other and see if I need to pad out any of the rafter tails to make it perfectly straight. When you do a metal roof, you want that edge to be a perfectly straight line so that everything looks good and straight, especially on the front side where people will be pulling into the parking lot. To do that, I will use cedar shims. I've ripped them down to 1.5 inches, and I'll just pat it out until it just brushes the string, and then I'll back it off just a little bit. It's not a lot, but it's just a little bit on each one. It's started to snow now, but I've got all the rafter tails shimmed out to where the string was. Just took the string down, getting ready to nail up the fascia. Now, just as a helping set of hands, I'm going to use my little jig. I think it'll work perfectly. And this is why you buy good quality tools, because it kind of makes me cringe a little bit getting my tools wet, but the snow for the most part brushes right off. It's just a little annoying when you're trying to get things done. There, that should work. Beautiful. Perfect. Now it is important to check again on this end. Boards are not always straight. Almost never. Up a little. Must be a straight board. That one's actually right where it's supposed to be. It's getting really dark fast. I'm surprised days are a little longer now, and it's almost 4:30. It's still light enough I can see. Really nice. Looks really nice and straight. It was worth the time. It only took me about a half hour pad those out. Definitely worth it because it's straight as an arrow. Oh yeah, perfectly straight. Of course, I'll pick it up again as soon as I get a chance. But that's it for today. I'm back at it here today. I'm going to get the soffit line string up and pad these rafters out if they need it, and get the fascia on the front. It's all done on the back. We're about, I don't know, 5 or 6 days later, and then I'm going to get the roof strapped in preparation for the roofing. That'll get a 1x4 every 2 feet all the way to the ridge. Give me something to screw the metal roofing to, and I'm hoping to get the rest of this trim done and all the strapping done today, and then I can install the roof when we get the next good day. Now with this, I just go outside corner to outside corner and just stretch the string really tight, and then I shim until it just meets the string, and then back it off a little bit because I don't want it to push it out. These are not off by very much at all, but we're still going to straighten it. Now these shims, I found that roofing nails work really well to secure them without splitting them. One roofing nail in each one, and then I cut them off with the utility knife. Cut pretty easy. There's only a few that are off. A few right here. The reason I want these perfectly straight is so that the edge on the metal roofing is nice and straight, especially on this parking lot side. Looking like it's going to be a really nice day today. Already a lot warmer. Got some snow coming. I think I only got 3 more. Need a little attention. All the rest of them look really good. So now we can put the fascia on. And move on to the roof strapping. Again, I have my second set of hands here. A little jig, which I'm going to screw to this. And that'll allow it to flush up on the bottom, which is just what I want. And since they're 2-foot centers, the next one should be exactly 10 feet. The end one will be a little bit different on that right end, just because of the pad out on the end. Perfectly on layout. It's a little hard to see. Microphone died. Hopefully I got some good audio before it did. Never realized how hard it would be to get footage while you're working. Because you got to pay attention to the camera angle and make sure your microphone's working and make sure you don't drop it in the snow. A lot more to it than I ever thought there was. Just a hair too long. Cut it, because I've got another fascia going over the top of this after the roof goes on. A lower profile. So it's got to be pretty close to perfect. Perfect. Nice and flush. And there, now I can get up on the roof and get it all strapped off. snap some chalk lines as I go and keep it running nice and true. We'll use red chalk. It can be the flavor of the day. So that's it for me today. It started spitting a little bit of snow and now it's coming down pretty heavily. We're supposed to get, I think, 3 to 5 and maybe another inch or 2, not sure. But it's pretty slick up there, so I am done for today. Pick it back up when the weather's better. Sure is pretty though. Well, that's it for this video. I'm going to continue up to the ridge, get this all strapped off, and run the secondary fascia up and the drip edge, and then in the next video we'll be installing the roofing. The only thing to do after that is the siding and the trim and build the doors, and then I'll be done. Be a big sigh of relief when I get the roof on and everything is at least covered. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please subscribe and give us a thumbs up. Until next time, stay tuned.